And so we're looking at these things to do with the Jews and also to do with the Knights of Malta and the secret societies like the Jesuits, because they are all part of the Whore of Babylon. And remember, the Whore of Babylon is not actually Rome itself or London itself or Washington DC itself, but it's actually the religion, the anti-Christ religion, that encompasses those parts of the world, in fact all the nations of the world. And so this history goes way back to ancient Babylon, which is situated there way up in southeastern Turkey on the Shinar Plain. And the city of Ur is the original name of the original city of Babylon, where the Tower of Babel was built. And we have this information from the book of Yasha. And also the book of Jubilees, which is found among the Dead Sea Scrolls, tells the same story that we find in the book of Genesis in the Old Testament. And so we have quite a bit of information. For example, the city of Ur means the city of light, and it was there on the Shinar Plain. And the city of Haran is found on the Shinar Plain, just like the city of Sanliurfa is found on the Shinar Plain. And so this is where the original Babylon took place. And the book of Genesis records how Nimrod, after the Tower of Babel, went down to the Euphrates and Tigris and planted many cities. Cities like the city of Nineveh, which became the centre of the Assyrian Empire later on, and also the city of Babylon, which became the centre of Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon. And so let's go down and have a look at Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon with Dan Cruikshank of the BBC.
I'm here, the great city of myth, of legend, magical name, trip off the tongue, Babylon. The Babylon of Nebuchadnezzar, built about 600 BC when he was king. And so these bricks are from the time of Nebuchadnezzar, 2,600 years ago. And the habit of the kings at that time was to stamp the bricks with their name, and I believe that is what this is saying, the name of Nebuchadnezzar. Stamped his name on his great works. This was the greatest city on earth at that time, Babylon. This is amazing. I'm just absolutely knocked out. The bull, the symbol of the god of storms. And the dragon, that is a symbol of the great god of this place, Marduk, all known from the Bible as Bel. The whole of Babylon within the walls was terraced, tiered, arcades, and those arcades supported one of the wonders of the world. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon. These were gardens soaring above the city. The feat of getting water up to high level was truly astonishing for the time. So apparently this great brick vault, these brick piers, date from the time of Nebuchadnezzar, and is generally believed to be the foundations of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, up there.
And so who were the Babylonians that were living in Babylon? Who are those people today in the world? And we know the answer to that because the original city was established by Nimrod around about 2000 BC. But then 1780 BC there was a famous leader in Babylon called Hammurabi. And the name Rabbi should immediately tell you that there's a link between the Babylonians and the Jews. And also the language of the Babylonian Empire was the Aramaic language. And today the Jews have a Yiddish language which is very much made up of the Aramaic language. In fact, 78% of the Jewish language today is Aramaic in origin, and only 18% is Hebrew in origin, which is another indication that the Jews are not actually the Hebrews, they are the Babylonians. And of course, by the time Nebuchadnezzar was there, the Babylonians, the Kazites, were very much in control of that region. And of course we have this signet ring of Nebuchadnezzar found at the Florence Museum, which depicts him as a Kazite as well. And we see also Ariel Sharon, Israeli Prime Minister, there. And he is also a Kazite or a Khazarian Jew today. And so we see the link between the Babylonians and the Jews. And so the Whore of Babylon in the world today is very much a Jewish thing, and also to do with the pagan Luciferian religions that have spread out right around the world. And all these religions oppose Jesus Christ, and that's why it's called the Whore of Babylon, because it leads people astray. And that includes Freemasonry, Judaism, Islam, and all the pagan religions. All the non-Christian religions are those Babylonian religions. And so we also know that the Edomites to the south are very much involved in alliance with the Babylonians. And the book of Ezekiel gives us tribute to that. And it says it will be laid desolate. And we look around that region where Edom is today, which is around Petra and all those regions, it is totally laid desolate, just as Ezekiel said it would be. And the reason for that was that the Edomites went in and helped the Babylonians conquer the Israelites. And so in their moment of weakness, the Edomites swooped in with the Babylonians and helped them destroy the Israelites, the real Hebrews. And so the idea that the Jews today are Hebrews is a complete lie, and that's typical of the Whore of Babylon. And so let's have a look more closely at the Jews and their Jewish religion, which is found in the Babylonian Talmud. And so the Babylonians today are very much the Jews.
Does Judaism, as it is practiced today, have anything to do with the patriarchs and prophets of the Old Testament? Nothing. Nothing at all. You see, I was raised in Judaism, and we were under the authority of the rabbis, whose formulation of God and the world around us was based not on the Bible, but on the Jewish Talmud. Indeed, the rabbinic authority gave the first and final word on Jewish attitudes, Jewish belief, Jewish practice, and Jewish behavior toward the Gentiles, whom behind closed doors we called the Goyim. The rabbis put attitude before everything else, that we Jews were superior to the Gentiles in intellect, in morality, and as a race. And this is all spelled out quite specifically in the Jewish Talmud. The Talmud began as an oral law prevalent at the time of Christ, and it was Jesus Christ himself who accused the Jewish leaders of his day of usurping the message of the patriarchs and prophets of the Old Testament by this oral law, which Christ labeled the tradition of the elders. Enraged by Christ's censure, the Jewish elders arranged for Jesus Christ to be crucified, and ignoring the significance of his resurrection, committed their tradition to writing, which reached its final form in 800 A.D. in the multi-volume set known as the Talmud. The Talmud, first and foremost, blasphemes the Lord Jesus Christ, calling him a magician who is now in hell, boiling in his own excrement. The Talmud also blasphemes Christ's Holy Mother, the Virgin Mary, calling her a hairdresser, a prostitute who had sex with carpenters. Then the Talmud spews its venom on the Gentiles to be treated less than subhumans, defrauded, cheated, and even murdered as civilians in times of war, though they be innocent women and children. Thus we find world Jewry condoning the atrocities committed against the people of the Gaza Strip by the Israelis. Why? Because, as historian Israel Shahak points out in his book, Jewish Religion, Jewish History, Jewry's disparaging attitude toward the Gentiles has been formed, set in stone, throughout the centuries by the writings of the Jewish Talmud. Indeed, the Talmud, formative of Judaism since the time of Christ, is nothing less than a religion of a tribal crime syndicate. The true followers of the patriarchs and prophets of the Old Testament are those who have embraced the hopes and predictions of those holy men, realized and fulfilled in the New Testament. As a former Jew, now an Orthodox Christian, I'm a follower of the Lord Jesus Christ. What about you?
And we know that Jesus Christ was a white man, and that is the Christian tribe of Jacob. And they were the Israelites. The white people were the Israelites sitting there in the middle of the Middle East way back in those times. And of course the Edomians moved in from Edom after the Babylonian captivity, and they moved into Judea. And that's why the Jews today call themselves Jews, because they have coveted and taken over what belonged to the Israelites. And everything that the Christians have today, they try to covet and take over for themselves, for their own selfish ends and their selfish purposes.
Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.